the biggest challenge with these companies is stopping censorship and increasing competition. And I believe that if we, just like we have in cable TV, where we have 5 or 6 different choices, we know that some of them are biased, but they don't censor. And if we have 5 or 6 different choices of search engines or 5 or 6 different choices of social media platforms, as conservatives, we will benefit. I'm all in favor of dealing with the censorship issue, dealing with the privacy issue, but at the same time, we have to make sure that we deal with the antitrust issues, the monopoly issues, and encourage competition in the marketplace.
So you're the ranking member on a committee. I'm going to actually read it out because I can never remember exactly, but it's the House Judiciary Committee's Subcommittee on Antitrust, Commercial, and Administrative Law. You're the ranking member.
Ranking Republican, right?
Yes, right, exactly. And so there was this huge report that was put out by the subcommittee recently. I mean, essentially saying that these biggest of the big tech giants are monopolies in so many different ways, right? Which is something they contest heavily.
Well, they don't want the result of that. They don't contest the fact that their profits are huge. They don't contest the fact that they dominate the marketplace. When all of a sudden Congress takes notice and wants to implement some antitrust laws that will help increase competition, they object strenuously.
So what are the big problems you see, right? How are they monopolies in so many different ways?
Well, take Google, for example. They control 94% of the searches. So if Google, and they did, change their algorithm 6 months before the election, and that change benefited Joe Biden and harmed Donald Trump. And when you change an algorithm like that, you are affecting millions of voters. And I'm not saying they changed millions of votes, but what they did was when people searched, they would find bad articles on Donald Trump higher and good articles on Joe Biden higher in their search results. That tends to impact public opinion. If you've got 5 or 6 different search engines, people will go to different search engines and find the information that they're looking for to make an intelligent decision. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon runs a platform. They see a product developing, and they go in and they either buy that product at a low price, or they create their own product and then drop that product on the search and increase the visibility of their own product. And so by dominating in the platform area, these companies are able to monopolize other aspects, other products in the economy.
And this report, it also documents not just the fact that they do dominate, basically in the consumer market, but they actually kind of actively, it seems, prevent competitors from kind of coming into the space.
Absolutely, and they do that. I mean, who wants to invest in a company if you know that Amazon is going to come in and knock off your company? So they stop investment in companies that would compete with their products at the same time that they are dominating the marketplace. You know, if you look at Apple, they have Apple Music, and Spotify is trying to compete on the Apple platform with Apple Music. Well, they charge Spotify a 30% increase in fees in order to be on the App Store. Well, Apple Music sells, you can get that monthly subscription at $9.99, Spotify at $12.99. You know exactly where that money is going, and it's just an unfair way to manipulate the marketplace.
So, you kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier. So you're getting, a bit of pushback from fellow Republicans. I mean, the substance of it I'm seeing is that, the censorship is the massive issue. Why aren't we why you don't seem to be focused on this sufficiently?
As I said before, I believe in an all-of-the-above strategy, but as the ranking Republican on the antitrust subcommittee, my focus is antitrust. I absolutely support those on the Energy and Commerce Committee who are focused on this Section 230 and the censorship issue, and I will do everything I can to support them in that area. But we can't just say I don't like this antitrust solution because it doesn't do enough on censorship. We've got to make sure that we're pushing in every area. These companies are dangerous. They are absolutely dangerous. They are doing exactly what our Constitution prohibits the government from doing. They have taken the role of government, and they're engaged in activities that are just un-American. As Democrats Democrats don't like these big tech companies for one set of reasons, and Republicans don't like them for another set of reasons, but we're unified in not liking them. And anytime that happens, you can pass legislation. As opposed to the censorship issue, it will be very difficult for the Energy and Commerce Committee Republicans to move legislation forward past the Democrats. So even if we take the majority in a year and a half, the Energy and Commerce Republicans may pass a bill, and it may go to the floor and it may pass, but unless we have 60 votes in the Senate, it won't pass the Senate. And if it did pass the Senate, President Biden wouldn't sign it. So you're talking about 4 or 5 years before anything happens on the censorship issue. That's why it's so important that we work in a bipartisan manner in the antitrust area to get this legislation passed.
So, pretend I don't know anything about this, and just tell me. So, what do the Democrats like or not like? Well, let's do not like, and what do the Republicans not like? Again, how is that different?
About these 4 companies?
Yes.
So, the Democrats believe that big is evil. These companies make too much money. The Republicans believe that if we're going to stay ahead in the world economy, we need to create innovation. And so even if these companies weren't huge, if they're suppressing innovation and manipulating the market, that would be bad. The Republicans also believe that censorship is bad because we're the ones being censored. And so we want more of these search engines or more of these social media platforms so that we have that opportunity to stop the censorship.
The Democratic Party position, and this isn't everybody, but seems to be roughly that there's certain types of censorship that's supported, right? It strikes me that enacting this antitrust legislation, I mean, we should actually go through it a bit in a moment, but because there's, I think, 6 bills, right, that are in play. But it actually will impact the ability of these companies to censor. So it almost seems to be working against those Democrats. So how does that work? Have you heard this argument?
Oh yeah, I think the Democrats also recognize that what a company does today to censor Republicans, they may do tomorrow to censor Democrats. And so it's not a byproduct that concerns them because it could very well be used against them in the future.